Good morning. Good morning. Let me say how excited and thrilled we are to be here again on another Saturday morning, on another sunny day. We have to give the good God in heaven thanks for how He has given us exceptionally good weather for every single March. And I want to encourage you this morning, remember what our second verse of our national anthem says. We must never forget it. It is not a political party. It is not the United Nations. It is not the World Economic Forum. It is not the World Health Organization. It is the Lord that has been the people's guide in Barbados for past 300 years. Can I hear you say, yes? Thank you. Now this morning, I want to share very briefly and very quickly about an international matter. I am not going to get into all of the matters to do with the Springer Memorial School, which incidentally was my wife's alma mater. Is that what they call it? That was my wife's school. I'm not going to get into that, because if I get into that, we'd have to call an election next week. And maybe we need to call an election. I just want to say a couple of things nevertheless with regards to it. We are aware of what drills and simulations are. We're not stupid. There are a lot of people that are in Parliament and running in politics that think the people are ignorant. But the people know what a drill and what a simulation is. And what I will say is this morning, I watched the press conference, and the outstanding thing that came forth to me was the lack of sincerity in the apologies that should have been offered. There was no sincerity and there was no authenticity to it. What I also observed was the distancing. I'm not going to call any names because I can't afford to pay any lawyers. Although I think I could easily defend myself, because it would appear to me that a lot of lawyers are no longer amenable to law. But I observe a distancing of the Ministry of Education from the principal of the school, suggesting that it is the responsibility of the principal to engage the processes of drills and simulations. I also observed the Minister of Education announcing during a recent governmental event that they were now formulating and were now going to put in place policies surrounding matters to do of this nature for their schools. My God, man, this is 2023, and we are now addressing that after 3 years of a pandemic, after watching what has happened in schools in America, after watching what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, and we have not put policy in place. What is the problem? Does our ministry not have vision? Do they not have the ability to see down the road? And if they don't, then they need to put people in place who do. Imagine we are going to be told, after children have had panic attacks, asthma attacks, premenstrual involvements, all kinds of medical issues with teachers and parents and children, parents who are facing threats from their employers because they had to leave their work and rush to the Springer School. And you mean to tell me that we are going to now learn from this? That is an insult to the intelligence of Barbadian people. And I will endorse, and I said it publicly in the last meeting, I said it yesterday in a press conference, that those in charge should be made to step down. You no longer carry the moral right and the moral integrity to lead the Ministry of Education. And that should be the position of every parent. You know what I'd like to see in Barbados? Can I tell you? I would like to see a day when every parent keeps every child from school and stays home for one day and show the people and show the government we are not making sport about the matter. But as I said, where my iPad? My iPad is here. See if it drops. Anybody see an iPad back there on the ground? Please.
I got one.
You can tell I'm getting a little older than normal. I got it under my armpit. My armpit's so big I didn't even recognize that it was there. But I'm going to tell you what I want to share with you today. We have a child protection bill before the Parliament. We have had submissions from several different areas of this country with regards to this child protection bill. But let me tell you what I took. I'm not going to say offense. What I took objection to was a certain member of Parliament in a joint constituency meeting in St. James in the Queen's College Hall that was hardly filled with anybody, having the disingenuous and disrespectful position to tell the people that they're talking foolishness and that the bill is going to pass. In other words, all the consultations don't mean a thing to them. It is a matter of theatrics. It is a matter of photo optics that they can see they consulted with the people, but they intend to pass an international determination by the United Nations upon the people of Barbados. We did not elect the UN to represent us in our parliament. We elected people of this country to defend the rights of citizens of Barbados. And this politician, this parliamentary lawyer, had the audacity to talk rubbish about the people trying to hijack a bill. We're not trying to hijack a bill. What we're trying to do is to defend the rights of the people of this country to self-determination and sovereignty. That is what we are trying to do. And I'm going to tell you why it's important. Today as I speak to you on the, let me make sure I get the date right, on the 13th of September, the United Nations held a private meeting in Strasbourg to establish the World Health Organization as the sole entity to determine what happens in a country in the planned future pandemics. If you want to find out if they have planned future pandemics, talk to Bill Gates, talk to the Melinda Gates Foundation, talk to George Soros. Both are who are represented in this country as I speak. Talk to the World Economic Forum that has a branch in Barbados. And these are the people that are driving the agenda for the future of this country. Decisions are not being made in our parliament because the same parliamentary representative said that we are obligated to the United Nations agreements. So that what he's fundamentally telling us is that no matter what the UN brings forward to us, Barbados is obligated to accept it. And that is a lie. We are not obligated to accept it. Ask Iran, ask Iraq, ask Saudi Arabia, ask Abu Dhabi, ask Dubai, ask Africa. You think we're stupid? We're not stupid. The World Health Organization has made it clear, and listen, by next year, May, all 194 countries represented in the UN must vote for their resolution, must vote for the amendment to the World Health Bill. All 194 must vote. And what we are calling for, and what Mr. Klaus has called for before the UN, before the European Union, is that the people instruct their representatives not to sign on to these amendments with the World Health Organization. My question is, what is the government of Barbados? What is the government of Barbados going to do? What is the decision that our government is going to make without consultation with the people? And when you consult with it, are you seriously going to take what we say to the World Health Organization and tell them the people of Barbados do not want this?
No. Get them out of there! No. Fire them! No. The warlock in there!
I am trying to be very decent.
I know.
Because my mother raised me to be a decent citizen.
I in it for the
But
bench.
there's so much that we will tolerate.
I in it for the children for the bench.
For 3 years, as a people, we suffered under mandates in this country. We could not leave our homes for a pandemic that to this day, China will not accept responsibility for a global disaster. And we have China strong in this country,
Yes.
providing money left, right, and center. And last I checked, even a grant, listen to me carefully, even a grant has terms and conditions. And what the people of Barbados are asking for, which an authority remind me of this morning. I won't tell you who he is, but he reminded me that what we want is transparency and accountability. We have things happening in this country and nobody is being called to account. People are doing as they like, running ministries how they want, making decisions that will affect your life, your children's lives, and your grandchildren's lives, and your great-grandchildren's lives for the rest of our time in this nation. And nobody knows what's going on. Up to now, Mr. Caswell Franklin, who will be speaking this morning, has not received the terms and conditions of a Saudi Arabian loan of $300 million for our airport. Up to now, we don't know the terms and conditions of a $100 million loan for Sam Lords. We don't know the terms and conditions of a grant for a new secondary school. You can call it a Rose by any other name, it's still a Rose. To be built up there by the Royal Bank. And what do you call it there again? Cheltenham Park. But this is because we are having a government that is signing on to international agreements without the consent of their people, and in which the people of the country are not satisfied. We are concerned, and as citizens we have a right to march and protest. Of all the people who should know that, the Prime Minister should know. After all, did she not lead one of the largest protests and marches in this country when the Democratic Labour Party was in government? And now that the same thing is happening to you, you got a problem with it? That's called hypocrite. And then you have the audacity to stand in the United Nations and call the people, the nations of the world, the funding agencies, for transparency. That is a joke. You know, I can stand on this truck and I can talk sweet and I can talk pretty. But it is what happens when I get off this truck and I live my life that determines whether what I say lines up with what I do. Ronald Reagan once said, the most dangerous statement to hear in the English language is I am from the government and I am here to help you. I am encouraging every one of us as citizens of Barbados. This is not about a political party. You know, there are people who have come to me already for this morning to ask to interview the leadership of this. And I said to them, this is a movement. You won't find a singular individual here. What you're looking at are grandparents, grandmothers, workers. You're looking at a cadre of all Barbadian citizens who are concerned about the future of their country. And rather than acting like an idiot and calling us disingenuous and calling us foolish and talking about trying to hijack a bill, what you need to do is to have a proper open forum, not your constituency meeting, not a Barbados Labour Party constituency meeting, not a Democratic Labour Party constituency meeting, a constituency meeting for the people of Barbados, and bring every one of your ministers to the table and let them give an account. When that happens, we as a people would begin to believe that you have the interests of the citizens of this country at heart. So I'm calling on all of you citizens of this nation. The pension bill will affect you. The child protection bill will affect you. The World Health Organization amendments to the World Health protocols will affect you. Because what they are saying is that in the next pandemic, we are taking control of your country. You have to do what we say. You know what that means? It means we have surrendered our sovereignty. That is what it means. And as a sovereign nation, as people, I am not going to incite nothing. But you know what we will do? We may not be able to defend ourselves against the mighty U.S. military. But I still believe that there's a fella up above. Are you hearing me? There's a fella up above that when you start to mess with the citizens of a country, he responds. And he can put you in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital on your back, looking up from the bed. Even worse, he can put you at Lyndhurst. So you better be careful how you handle the affairs of the people of this country. God bless you. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for listening.